Shots from the Winchester podcast presents Shots on the Go, brought to you by Greencastle Consulting, your nation's premier strategy execution firm. On this season of Shots on the Go, we're exploring veteran-owned and operated businesses who are vendors at the upcoming annual Vet Fest put on by Greencastle Consulting in Malvern, Pennsylvania in September. Vet Fest highlights some of the area's most outstanding veteran-owned and operated businesses. Today, we talk to Collie Turner, founder and executive director of Heroic Gardens. So Collie Turner is the founder and executive director of Heroic Gardens. And we're here talking to her in her beautiful home, which you guys just purchased, which is great out here. And I love this area. The birds are chirping. It's beautiful out right now. So we decided we're going to do this interview outside on the porch. So Collie, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Before we started, we just had this whole conversation about, Greencastle and Vet Fest, and we met each other at Vet Fest last year.
Yep.
And we had a whole conversation. We did a brief interview there, which is running now in our
saw it.
in our little commercials and stuff. It got me thinking. I love plants. I love gardening. I think it's also very therapeutic and very healing.
Yes.
And that's kind of the direction that you're going to with this whole process and with veterans too.
Right.
Yeah. And we were just talking and you said this has been 6 years now.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that we started in 2018.
2018, wow. So let the audience know a little bit about Heroic Gardens and your mission with Heroic Gardens.
Yeah, our mission is to connect veterans and their families with the healing power of plants and nature. And to your point, I mean, there's something about getting your hands in the soil and watching something grow and being accountable and responsible for a living thing. I like to tell people, it's not just that we are living on Earth, we are Earth, right?
Yes.
So we are plants, essentially.
Yeah.
But, there's a lot of science behind this. It's scientifically proven that working with plants can help reduce anxiety and stress, pain, depression. And at the same time, it can help impact bone strength and heal wounds, help with mood stabilization, help with, all kinds of feelings, like positive feelings that we want everyone to be having. And especially right now, I mean, I still think there's a lag with the pandemic. There's a lot of people that are still feeling very isolated. So, even having one plant to take care of, I think is really critical. And that's why, we decided not only just to use plants, but we thought, well, this is a really great opportunity to help veterans as part of their healing process.
Right.
But we all have one.
Yeah, that's awesome. And thank you for bringing this type of service out here too, because at Vet Fest especially, it stands out. It's different, like last year my wife took a plant home and I saw people putting their own plants, potting and everything and going away with it, and the smiles on their faces.
Right.
That's the gold, right?
It is. And it's not even just about like taking a plant home. For us, we're fancy. We call it the propagation station. But
Nice.
it is about choice. Like we know, you men and women in the military, you didn't have choice.
Yeah.
So when you come up to our table, you're going to see a bunch of plants. And we're going to ask you to choose what appeals to you. We're not giving you anything. You have to earn it. You've got to pot that plant and take it home. And now you are connected to it, right?
Yeah.
You have set it on its way. So I love that your wife has it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know I told you we are going to have some other surprises this year at that fest, but we're definitely going to bring plants back because they definitely make people happy.
They definitely do. And, I'm an avid gardener. I love plants. I love growing things. I'm looking to expand my space to be able to put in a greenhouse at some point in the future and do more with that. What motivated this idea for Heroic Gardens?
Well, so I am a daughter and granddaughter of veterans, and my grandfather in particular, he had a vegetable garden that he created when he came back from World War II. So way before I was around, but it was still there when I was small. And I recognize looking back, he used it as a place of respite, right? One, he was feeding the family, which I think is a whole other topic we could go hours and hours about, because the sustainability aspect is really important. But two, he was, using it as his own just decompression zone, right? So my grandmother was a gardener, my mother was a gardener, my uncle was a gardener, and I, inherently had this. Plus I had the connection to the military, and my grandfather and my father were very, very involved in the community and in their respective VFWs, American Legions, and just making sure that the community was taken care of, as you guys do. Right? Honestly. I mean, you come back from service and you continue serving. So just seeing that and bearing witness to that, I think, as a child was really left an impression on me. So here we have gardening and here we have community service. And so I get a degree in film, and then I go into advertising for 27 plus years. No connection whatsoever,
I was
right?
gonna say,
And it was very difficult for me to try and figure out how I could marry the two. And it really wasn't until, I don't know, 2011 maybe, when I met some folks at the VA because I was applying for my grandfather's death benefits for my grandmother. It took 3 years.
What?
It took 3 years, and I know anybody listening to this that has, filled out things with the VA, there's just a lot of paperwork.
That is wild.
So, and end of the day, I met someone at the VA who helped me get my grandfather's death benefits for my grandmother. And I thought, I don't want to just write a check to say thank you. Like, anybody can write a check. What could I do? The woman that I was working with, she said her job was to help veterans find housing when they were coming back from service, because a lot of times they were coming back and their families were homeless. They were homeless. I mean, and this is a huge problem.
It really is.
And somebody's got to do something about it. Well, this woman, that was her job. And so I thought very naively, well, maybe if you are going to help them acquire housing, I could do the landscaping.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So that was sort of how it started. And I have to laugh. And then I sat on it until 2018. I didn't do anything. And because I'm a civilian, in 2018, I put it out there that this is what we wanted to do. Not one person called me. No, but that's okay. I get it. I had to prove that, yes, I am a civilian, and yes, I care about the veteran community, and I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do. And so however long that takes, that's fine. I'm fine with that. Keep going. And, now what it's like blossomed into, right? 6 years later. Last year we were able to serve over 700 veterans with our 3 programs. And we actually served over 100 caregivers.
Wow.
We had impressive. That's a whole other, category of folks that care about the veteran community, but forget to practice their own self-care.
You literally went from 0 to 100.
0 to 100. And now we're working with caregivers in Delaware, we're working with caregivers in Philly, hopefully in New Jersey, hopefully in Maryland. So it's really starting to expand. And we also started a virtual program. And we were hoping to have about 50 veterans across the country by the end of this year. And we have 70 right now, reaching as far as Alaska and Hawaii. So we know it's working. We're getting really awesome feedback. We have over 180 volunteers every year. And we book a season out for our projects. We do a lot with VFWs, with war memorials, cemeteries. We go where there is a call, right? We try to answer that call and honor as many that we can, because you're all important to us.
Wow, that's a beautiful thing. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
So what are some of the programs? What do they look like for our audience to
Sure. So we have a program called Mission Windowsill. It's basically playing with plants. That's how I'm going to say it. But it at the end of the day, it's horticultural therapy. So it's led by a horticultural therapist. We usually meet either at the VA at satellite vet centers.
Okay.
But we also meet in areas that might have heavy veteran populations that aren't necessarily affiliated with the VA or vet centers. So, community organizations that maybe they have a senior population,
Yeah.
and they have a designated group of Vietnam veterans. We go there.
Yeah.
We are working right now. We started working with Jefferson Health. They have a Parkinson's group of veterans, so we're working with them.
Oh, wow.
And it's an hour of just goal setting and using plants as part of that goal.
Wow.
We did use the VA has the Veterans Empowerment Center. The VA has a whole health model. So we try to mirror that because then it makes sense. Like if one day we're talking about, let's just say, relationships or nutrition or movement or spirituality, what we do is try and align a plant activity that they can take away with them that is connected to that whole health model. Because at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is help them recognize that, as you said earlier, there's a lot of different forms of healing that makes you a whole person. And we are a part of that. We're not the whole thing.
Right.
But we're a part of it.
But you're part of it, yeah.
We're part of it. So we do that, and then we also have this virtual class. So it's once a month. We send a box to veterans that register.
Nice.
So again, like if you're in Alaska and you're in Tennessee and you're in Maine, you're all getting the same project, and we unpack it on the first Sunday night of every month.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and it's really fun. It's like a great group of veterans that didn't know each other before.
Yeah.
Right? And now they have this connective tissue, and some of them, maybe could not get out of their homes.
Yeah.
So bringing it to them, and who doesn't love the mail? I'm sorry, I still love the U.S. mail. But then the third program we have is called Land Transformation.
Okay.
And that's where we go into individual veterans' homes that are in need. And this sort of brings back the original idea of doing the landscaping.
Right.
Now, people always say to us, like, oh, you're a landscaping company? And I'm like, no. We are in the land transformation business.
Nice.
So what that means is we go to a veteran's home and we show them what they need to do. We can help them heal their land. We can't heal them. But in doing so, they can learn how to heal themselves.
Oh, I love that.
Right?
Yeah.
So we have an application process because we want to know that you got skin in the game.
Yeah.
That you have an interest in starting a garden. And we've met people that didn't want it at all, and by the end, now they're calling us like, well, what else can we add? What else can we add? And that's it, right? And this changes neighborhoods.
Yeah.
I mean, this changes everything. I think once people start seeing that pride and that ability and the activity, and your mood changes.
Yeah.
We have had the opportunity in Northeast Philly to actually go block by block at specific veterans housing and give them planter boxes and the plants.
Wow.
You walk up and down Glenlock or Harbison or Rosalie, you know where the veterans live.
Really?
Because they're growing. They are growing.
That's
Vegetables, pollinators. Yeah, it feels great.
Yeah.
It feels great.
That's the best part of it. When you're doing something that feels good to you, then that resonates to the people that you're serving.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
Which is that's what you want.
Absolutely. And and I say these are the programs we have now. Like we just got a phone call from a gentleman in Connecticut. So we don't reach Connecticut, but why not? Like that when these things happen, it's like, well, maybe we should be in Connecticut.
Yeah.
So, we are really aggressively looking to figure out a way to get into as many states as possible with this model because there's a need for it.
Yeah.
And it's a great, positive, beautiful ride that we're on,
Yeah.
for sure.
I'm loving it. And in 6 years, the growth is remarkable for what you've been able to accomplish. Are you looking to maybe expand on this, like have branches in different states possibly, or is it manageable kind of like how you have it now?
You know what? I don't think it's manageable. And that's because, locally speaking, you need boots on the ground.
Yes. Yeah, you do.
need an advocate, right, in that state. So it's not for lack of finding someone, by the way. There are people, but it's, do they have the same passion that we have?
Yeah.
And we'll find them. I am 100% certain we will find them, and then we will get this ball rolling. I mean, I would really like us to start out in heavily concentrated veteran areas, where we know there are bases and there are families and they have needs. First, and then sort of, but again, it's who reaches out to us and says, so yes, the answer is yes.
And my hope it would be other veterans in these locations loving this, wanting to see this expand, and maybe those other veterans latching on and becoming a part of that branching of this awesome idea that you have here. And the foundation of this is rooted, no pun intended, in mental health and growth, and seeing that people are actually not getting over, because you can't get over this, the traumas, but getting on with life.
I love that you brought that up, because I think up until this year we never really thought about ourselves as a mental health organization, but we are. And it's important to recognize that. It's not just, hey, here comes the plant mobile. There's actual, deliberate programming behind it to help as a healing outlet. 100%. There's, and there's something else that we're working on, and that is building a hydroponic greenhouse.
Oh wow, that's great. Hydroponics is one of those tricky things that I've been wanting to get into myself, so I'm very curious.
Guess what? Let's make sure we stay connected.
For sure.
The intention with it is not only to grow, but to use it as workforce development for the veteran community. And again, this goes back to how you guys serve, because the produce that would come out of this greenhouse would not only serve the community that it's in, but serve the veteran community, and then serve as workforce development. And so, isn't that a beautiful thing?
It is. So we're also near the Horticulture Center.
Yes,
so
you are.
I love going over there and getting involved in things and buying plants from over there.
Oh, cool.
So, every year I try to get something. Again, I want to support, communities, and I want to support, any activities that are going on and stuff. So I love that you're doing this. I definitely want to be involved in however ways I can be involved.
We're worse than the Olive Garden. We're always like, once we meet someone, their family. And that's the thing. Veterans that volunteer with us, civilians that volunteer with us, veterans that we've helped in the past, or that we've had the opportunity to work with, they stay with us. We are not a transactional organization at all. We're a relational. And that makes a big difference. You can always rely on us. Yes, it started with plants, but what it turns into is human beings sharing joy. And that's what we're about.
That's awesome. I love that. What does the future look like for you, for Heroic Gardens? Is there, and I know you have some plans to do some things for Vet Fest, which you're keeping that under wraps right now. Just kind of keeping it there a little bit, But I'm excited to see you at Vet Fest, and I know that there's new things. So, what is an outreaching goal that you would want, especially from something like this, with people listening right now?
I think our growth is so has been so expansive and has been so quick that there are some things that we need to do to ensure the future of the organization. And I think one of those is ensuring that we have a set strategic plan. And it's been difficult to do that, because up until April 1st we were 100% volunteer. But now we're not. So we're working towards that. But the other thing I think is figuring out, as any nonprofit organization would say, is what's the makeup of our board? How do we add appropriate people? And you're out there, I know you are, that want to get involved either at a operational level, right? literally get your hands dirty in the soil,
Yeah.
make things happen, help us with that expansion.
Yeah.
Right? But then there's also board members that, they want to fundraise for us. They want to be our champions. They want to be, known as that person that helped us get to the next level. We need them too.
Yeah.
We want to try and be as diverse as possible, because think about the plant world.
Yeah.
Right? Think about how many variations of plants there are. Like, our board should reflect not only, the faces of the United States, but like the faces of veterans.
Yeah.
Right? Veterans, as I always say, and there's a lot of education that we have to do, right? Veterans are not just your grandfather.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So we need to reflect that as well. And I think the other thing that we're looking to do, which is really exciting, is some research.
Yeah.
So, up until this point, we get a lot of veterans writing in, calling in, sending us amazing stories about how working with plants has really helped them heal.
Yeah.
But that doesn't help you with a grant.
Oh, no, it doesn't.
So unfortunately, people want numbers. So we are working with Rutgers.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And a couple other organizations to design and come up with a hypothesis on a study that hopefully we can publish in 2025.
Nice.
And we want everyone to utilize it. Like, it's not just for us to hold on to, right?
Yeah.
It's to prove what we've been talking about. And if it can change one life here, there, anywhere, that's why we're doing it.
Nice. That's beautiful.
So we got a lot. We got a lot going on.
Yeah, I'm glad.
But if you want to join us, please get in touch with me, and we'll, I'll let you know what we do on the board, and it is a lot of fun.
So that's a good segue. How can folks find you online?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
So just go to heroicgardens.org. That's our website, and or we're on Instagram at Heroic Gardens. We're on all the social media, but
nice.
Instagram is a great way to check us out, what we do, see our stories, and learn a little bit more about us.
That's awesome. We'll be right back after this.
We created VetFest as a way to bring together not only veteran organizations that have food or vendors, but also the service organizations that serve the veteran community, as well as people that just are veteran supporters.
This is our first year at VetFest. We jumped at the opportunity. We love supporting veterans. I'm a veteran.
There are so many vendors, participants, veterans.
I had no idea just how big it is. There are so many vendors out here, so much fun. I'm loving the live music.
So today we have some of our tadpole obstacles set up. That's our kids course. We brought out everything from walls to carries, crawls. We have a rope swing.
Great to be at VetFest. I'm a veteran myself in the United States Navy.
This is Team Foster's second time at VetFest. Super excited to be out here. Lots of amazing vendors, great energy, fantastic people.
This year, the thing that I enjoy the most is just to see the success of all the different vendors and the excitement that they're having about being here, potentially be coming back next year, and even adding to this, adding more vendors and adding more veteran-owned organizations that can just raise the awareness of what veterans are capable of.
Now back to Shots on the Go. So, last thing I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Why did you choose VetFest?
First of all, I'm a kind of a person that never says no.
Yeah.
Right? And like any opportunity for us to tell our story, meet more veterans, get to know the community.
Yeah.
And I think, up in Chester County, we haven't really done anything.
Yeah.
So it was like twofold. It was like, oh, who is this company? And what are they doing this for? And I mean, going there and just telling the veterans on our board that we were going to be doing this, they were like, oh yeah, we have to be there. So within the veteran community, there's that inherent knowledge, right?
Yeah.
But us civilians, we're like, what? So it was also a really good time for us because we are seasonal with our land transformation projects. So
makes sense.
Heavy up in the spring, heavy up in the fall.
Right.
But we don't start until the end of September. So it's like VetFest falls mid-September,
Yeah.
like perfect timing. And to be there last year and see so many organizations supporting the veteran community
Yeah.
was mind-blowing
Yeah.
and super fun.
Yeah. The music, the food, the hanging out, the camaraderie. Yeah.
It's a real party.
That's
It really
good-
is.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
not like, oh, I'm going to this fair or I'm going to this. It's like, it's a real happening.
Yeah. It's
And
like
that
veterans
is
celebrating
amazing.
veterans in a way. And yeah, that is very amazing. And to see so many people there last year was awesome. But now to recognize that there's going to be so many more people there
Yeah.
this year,
Yeah.
I don't even know what that's
I'm
going to look
excited.
like. It's going to be crazy.
I'm
you know?
excited.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
And I just want to say thank you to you guys
Mm-hmm.
too for taking on organizations that aren't necessarily veteran owned.
Yeah.
We love and support veterans.
Yeah.
But as earlier stated, I'm a civilian. But it's critical for us to be able to share with people that my favorite thing is when people say, I don't have a green thumb. Like, that's a complete myth.
Yeah.
And so, like, to help them ease into it and change, and you guys afforded us that platform there. So,
Yeah.
thank you.
Oh, well, thank you for having the services for the veterans, especially because it is important, and like, we don't want to lose out or miss anyone,
That's right.
And it's just important, I think, to support everyone, especially if you're supporting veterans in this context. It's important that veterans understand that you're available.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be a veteran, but you're supporting veterans, and they need to know that those services are out there and that they are beneficial to them.
Yes.
So thank you so much for your service.
Oh my gosh. It's an honor. It really is.
Yeah. So Collie, thank you so much for being on
Al.
Shots on the Go, Shots from the Winchester podcast, just in case you forgot, because, Shots on the Go is a little different since we're not in the studio. But I definitely want to invite you out sometime when we are maybe on a Thursday.
Yep.
And we have one of our happy hours.
Yeah.
And we can do another podcast. We can talk about the journey, continue
Let's do
on.
it.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I have more to tell you. So.
Oh yeah, and hopefully maybe your stuff that's under wraps
That's right.
will be out and we
That's
can
right.
talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Michael, give me the green light.
yeah. So Collie, thank you so much.
Thanks,
Really
Al. I
appreciate
really
it.
appreciate it.
Yeah. All right, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next episode.